Hey guys, Armand here. Quick pre-video announcement. We are talking about that sweet thing today, but as of right now, my merch is available for sale. Merch on Bunker Branding today dropped. I'm so excited. It's been a long dream and goal to do that, and I'm so pumped. So excited. They've been awesome over there to work with. Anyways, wanted to say, please check it out. Link in the description below. Supporting that directly supports my dogs. They will thank you because it's going to directly fund the ranch purchase this spring, which is going to mean so many great things. They get to free roam and we get live fire with the Dishka and everything else. Well, I need to find some 12/7x108 for that bad boy, but everything else that's already ready to go, we can do. And that's going to be amazing. Quick showing of what we got. Ignore the dog hair and wrinkles because, well, it's just a fact of life when you have fluffy animals. And when you don't fold your clothes. But we've got a battle-worn logo. We've got the olive drab with the Canadian maple leaf, also available just with a generic star. And we got a boom diggity with my signature. And this guy's got a little logo sleeve. And then my favorite is this hoodie. Bunny hug if you're Canadian, or Saskatchewan at least. Black camo, again, copious amounts of dog fur, not included. Signature, this thing is super comfy. And for kicks, we got some sticks. We got logo, and I love this, the original gun pills. Because everything we do here is to get you all gun pilled. Hey guys, Arm&Gun here with another episode from the gun library. Today we are checking out the most Chad of the Brens, the L4 in 7.62 NATO. Let's get gun pilled with another dose of gun occasion. Guys, today the goal is for you to understand the Bren as a weapon system, and specifically why this, of all the Brens, was the one to go super sane. It is the final form, the most advanced and evolved. Well, I suppose there was a belt-fed version, but nah, that's beyond the scope. Practically speaking, this is as far as the system went, and we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you guys a brief history. We're going to go through the controls so you can operate it like a pro. Talk about the ergonomics, the negatives and positives. This thing does have one glaring ergonomic negative, and it's kind of unfortunate. But overall, it is a super system, and when compared with the BAR, I know I said some mean things about that one last time, that one does have an edge on this guy in terms of that one main negative, but the true test will really be when we have the Super Saiyan final form of the bar, which will begin soon enough to compare against this, the final form Bren, to see ultimately which was the most Chad LMG of them all. Guys, question of the day. Battle rifles, would you go with the G3, the Lockman? In the event that you were a soldier for the West, the G3 or the FAL, L1A1, let me know, which one would you take? I know which one I would take, but that doesn't mean it's right. Comment below, I'll answer at the end of the vid. All right, guys, so interesting story. After World War II, Britain and the other ones wanted to basically take the Bren, which was a rimmed cartridge, 303. Notice that curvy mohawk boy out there. That's from the rim and the taper on the 303. They want to go back to a rimless cartridge, like 7.62 NATO. It would have been 30-06 at the time, or 8mm Mauser. Of course, Britain was playing around with their 280 caliber at the time. They wanted to go back to rimless caliber. And I say back because originally this gun was designed by the Czechs as the ZB26 in 8mm Mauser and some other rimless cartridges. Then it was adapted for Britain for adoption as the Bren in 303. So in another snip, snap, snip, snap situation,
what, reverse back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
The L4 was born. Though a little bit later because it took some time for, NATO. These began as original Brens that were converted to this pattern, and they eventually hit service in 1957. Mostly used by Britain. There weren't a lot of these made. India did some as well. But again, these were very uncommon guns, but very good guns. Now, we all know the Bren as this powerhouse LMG that kind of defined the class in World War II. And then ironically, post-World War II, this class also kind of died because, well, there was this thing called the General Purpose Machine Gun, and the FG-42 kind of just destroyed at that role. So people wanted to go to that afterwards, but there was an intermediate period where these things were still getting a decent amount of attention. But then there was the M60 and then the M240, and that pretty much changed the game. Next up, we'll compare this guy with some other guys. But real quick, first, a word from our sponsors. JK, because technically speaking, I sponsored this one because we talked about me old merch. And you already heard that, so we're good. Again, thank you to Matt, Roman, Dallas, and my personal bro, Darius, for putting up with all my prima donna bullshit and making this thing happen. So excited again. check out Bunker Branding for some Arm&Gun merch. Anyways, the size comparison here. So here we've got the L4 in all its 7.62 glory next to a 7.12 broom handle, just for, feels. There's an OG World War II Australian, actually. It's got a little shorty barrel on there. It's a Mark III. Mark 1-3. It's got the little old sight there, but there you go. A little shorter, but just because of the barrel, and also a little lighter. And then just for relativity's sake, there's a nice milled AK, because it's beautiful. Most of you will be familiar with something like that, so you can get an appreciation for kind of what those would be like. And naturally, the L4 brand is chambered in 7.62 NATO, or 308. That's this guy right here. He's in between a 30-06 and a 7.62x39 AK round. So there you go. Now, controls-wise on these things, these are pretty straightforward to operate. You've got a safety selector right here. We have repetition, safe, and automatic. Over here, we have a nice folding charging handle, which is very, very slick and smooth. Just beautiful. Surprisingly nice trigger as well. Mag release is this button right here. Pop this beaut out. And then you have a dust cover not only on the top, just push this guy ahead, slide her back, and that seals off the bottom of the gun as well. And then it will automatically deploy when you fire the gun. So no chance of hangups there. We've also got this carry handle here, which you can pull back, drive forward, and you can lock it under this lug up here. It's cut in the receiver, and then it kind of acts as a forward kind of commando handle to, just if you want to rock and roll with this gun off the shoulder or off the hip, that helps quite a bit. Also, with the bolt locked back, there is a very handy barrel change mechanism here. We'll actually pop this guy back out. It's right here. A little spring-loaded tab. You push that in, roll this up, very easy, and then the barrel boops right on out. Look at that. Interrupted thread pitch, and that's how that's held on. Adjustable gas block here as well, 4 positions, so you can play around with that. Putting in is very simple as well. Just roll it back, drop your latch, and you're good to go. You guys can see how the action works here as well. This is tilting bolt action as well. Very similar actually to the bar. As the carrier moves back, the bolt drops out of its locking recess there, and then cycles back. Now reciprocating charging handle folding. Very nice stuff. And man, got some authority behind that guy. The mags are double stack, double feed, which is nice. Very easy to load, and the rock back design is very simple to get in the gun as well. Now, people constantly ask, how do you see past a mag right there? And well, it is a bit of a challenge, but all they have to do is offset the sights to the left. There you can see your front sight offset to the left, and here is your rear. Bipod is pretty nice. You can forward load it, which is nice as well. And it has little feet up here that you can adjust for length. Now, one sad loss is you actually lose the last round bolt hold functionality on an empty mag. I mean, any open bolt is going to lock back to the rear, but typically when you run dry, the bolt just slams home, then you know you're done. Now, the original Bren had this fun feature where the follower had these extra long ears that prevented the bolt from dropping on an empty mag. That way, when your gun's done working, all you have to do is pop out your mag, pop in a fresh one. Usually this is done by an assistant gunner as well, and then you just keep on going. However, on the L4, due to modifying this trigger well to accept the shorter cartridges, 7.62 NATO, this insert, then they lost the functionality of that last round hold. So, kind of sad. All right, guys, ergonomics. This thing is, well, she's heavy. The balance point is right about there. And that puts a decent amount of this 22.4 pound gun out in front of you. Now, the bar is also pretty centerly based, but, well, this has over 1.5 pounds on that gun. So it's a little extra noticeable. And typically, I mean, you can hold it down here as well. I guess that helps a little bit. Or you can bring the bipods down. They kind of tuck in here kind of nice. They actually work decently well for a forward support as well. Whew! I'm feeling this thing. I'm feeling it. Now, the problem is, to conduct shoulder fire shots, The length of pull isn't bad. You can get right behind it quite nicely. But you get your cheek rest over here on this boot, and it kicks back up again. Sure, this is great for long distance. Wow. The dogs have arrived, and they're speaking their piece. Hey guys, what do you think? Is this a pretty Chad Bren? No, you guys are done. You guys don't care.
Go say hi. Go say hi.
Hi.
Go say hi.
That's enough highs. Hi.
Let's go. Let's go.
As I was saying, your cheek weld is maintained up here, and this bump is nice to get your cheek up for volley fire when your rear sight is way up here. But when you're just trying to use this, from the shoulder, which would be close range, you really have to crouch down, and that's not easy because your dominant eye already has to be off to the left. It just puts this in a really awkward position, and shouldering it is way up in the tight pocket, kind of like in your armpit, and it's just, you're contacting with the very butt end of the butt down here, and it's just, I don't like it. Contrast that to the bar, and you can actually get this nicely in your shoulder, get your face down in a nice position to look through these vastly inferior sights, but it would be easier to pop off semi-auto shots from the shoulder. But that's not really what either of these guns are designed for, but I would give the edge to the bar in that respect. But I will say walking fire, this is from the hip. This really gets you planted really nicely. This is nice control. These are known for being very accurate, and overall, outside of that one issue, I would definitely consider this a superior rifle. Also, it self-identifies as a gun machine, so it's also the most based. So we've kind of addressed the negatives at the same time. I'm still working through the ergonomics here, but selector, really easy position to get to. That's nice. Probably on par or maybe a little easier than the bar. I don't like that there's no express option for the sight. You have to fold it back to do that, so I don't really like that. Again, you do have a really nice aperture, which is really nice for sight acquisition, so that works really well though. The larger capacity mags are also a nice bonus. Again, the Bren always had 30s, at least when you're talking 303. But the top feed system also makes it nice for using an assistant gunner, which the bar can't really do. The other super cool thing with these mags is you pop it out and you pass it over to your buddy with an FAL, and he's in business with a little extra firepower because they take interchangeable mags. Really cool. All right, guys, let's get your ASMR review in here. So, of course, I'm going to say that the cycling of the action is incredibly satisfying. This is old world manufacturing, super smooth. Everything's machined to a very high degree. It's just, look at that in there. It's beautiful. Non-reciprocating, a very smooth charging handle. All that's beautiful, but ASMR is not just about sounds. It's about overall tactile, it just satisfies the senses ultimately. And for me on the Bren, that is changing the barrel. This system is just so cool. I remember being enamored when I saw people talk about this. I didn't ever understand quite how this thing worked, and I always thought it always intrigued me. So then when I got a Bren, it's just like, oh, I'm so excited. This little push button down here that retains itself on the bottom of the receiver, that just flips up. It's so effortless when it snaps on, but then nothing. It's just effortless, and the barrel pops right out. Ah. For me, that's the most satisfying element of any Bren. All right, fam, so time for my final thoughts on this beauty. Ultimately, it's lean, well, I would say lean, but it's kind of chonk. But mean fighting machine. Man, everything works so well. It's old school tech that's been just kind of like forced along to the semi-modern era, and it's still, this thing kicks butt. Running around using it as a shoulder-fired weapon is, I think, the only area where it might kind of lack a little bit. If you're close range, trying to use stuff, you really want to employ that bipod if you're going to use it. Or, I mean, if you are using it close, you're basically just using it as walking fire. Get this grip locked in there and clamp this thing under your shoulder, and then just water the garden. That thing will purr along. This is a really nice, controllable rate of fire. It's so smooth. Having shot this thing, it's just, it is on the money. Again, this rear sight, I have some issues with that, and this hump up here. I wish there was some way to do burst fire from the shoulder a little easier. Maybe I have to take this out to the range. We'll do this hopefully next summer and run it head to head with the BAR and some other beauties from times gone past. But ultimately, this is a weapon system that I am very happy with. Alrighty guys, question of the day follow-up. Would I take the G3 or the FAL if I were a Cold War soldier of the Western powers and had to be issued with one of them? I would take the FAL, not this guy. This is the G3. It's tight. This is a fantastic weapon system, very reliable, very robust, very just works. And of course, you always get to do that to your heart's content, which is fantastic. But it's also got a nice trigger, probably better as well. But overall, it's a little thicker up front. Seems a little more slower, more clumsy, a little more effort holding on target for extended periods of time, but just feels a little more sluggish to me. The FAL is just streamlined. The weight is further back here. Up front, it's very lightweight, just poised. This feels more like a longbow. Like if I'm Legolas running through the forest with my longbow, taking out enemies, this just feels like something I'd be much more light and nimble with. Whereas that's probably something more like one of the Gondor bros would be rocking. Yeah, this is where it's at for me. I like this guy a lot. Feels kind of like a Dragunov with slightly better ergonomics. Regardless, you can't go wrong with either, but yeah. For reasons aforementioned, this guy right here. Also, you can fine tune the gas system so you can get this guy running just beautifully. You can tune this guy for your ammo, make it as light recoiling as possible, and that's gonna help you out as well. And if the merch wasn't enough, we've also got a collab with Gold Guns. This thing is so cool, a little M1 Garand, and oh yeah. It's got a clip, the clip goes inside and you boop it out. Obviously I can't say that and then not show you, so boop. Oh shit. Can't believe I did that again. Anyways, here we go. Awesome, gorgeous packaging, and I'm super excited about it. Get gun-pilled and get Goat Guns. Boom diggity.